Yo, welcome to the latest episode of Stocks and Bars. In this episode, we're going to be talking about hip-hop. We're going to be doing our own version of What If for the Verses. Jay-Z recently came out and talked about there's nobody who can verse him in verses. And we're going to discuss that, some potential competitors. And then on top of that, we're going to do the very first ever Stock Verzuz. Let's go. I got my clique ready to use the money they got from jobs, encouraging, teaching them that it's not so hard. I'm doing this, making investing pop. You law, it's X-tro. You tuning in to Stocks and Bars. Yo, it's Stocks and Bars. And who I have with me today is part of my Empower Empire. My man. We introduced him last time, so can we do a new introduction for my guy here? Let's do it like this. So, fresh from the holidays, recovering from his sickness, back into the DJ booth, my man, DJ Step-one. Welcome back to the show, my friend. How are you feeling, man?
What's good, X-tro? I'm back in the building, feeling 100%. Brooklyn, we back in the building. We back on the map.
Brooklyn is back on the map, man. Thank you for coming back onto the show. Now, I want to let everybody know we're likely going to be trying to do this a little bit more often. We both love hip-hop, so this one's going to be more hip-hop centric than the rest of the podcasts have been in the past. And I plan on doing something like this on a regular basis. So, without further ado, let's jump into this topic here. This is a hot one that's been on the minds of a lot of hip-hop people for quite some time. So, was it last month? Last month?
Last month.
Yeah, last month.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, last month, you know, Verzuz was hot, and the homie Jay-Z jumped on. And he made a quote that everybody was talking about. That quote was, "Nobody can see him in verses." He said nobody.
He said nobody. He said like, yo, I didn't even touch like the Grammy family freestyle. Right. Like, and I don't even think that's a classic freestyle from him, but I don't know. I guess so. I guess he'll never do verses because nobody can see him.
That's what he said. He said nobody is competition for him. But I beg to differ. And there were artists that came to my mind quickly. I said, wait a minute. I think you got to rethink this one here, dog. There are quite a few artists out there that I think can match up easily and potentially beat Jay-Z in a versus.
So break down yours, because I got one in particular that I think actually would give Jay-Z a run for his money, but you got a couple. Yeah. So, and then you do yours, and then I'll tell you if my person is on the list.
I bet. So, first guy on the list that I have that can match up with Jay-Z very easily has been in hip-hop since the 80s. He's got crazy hits. Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
LL Cool J? When you said 80s, I automatically knew.
That's it, man. That's it. LL can easily match up with Jay-Z.
But so the interesting part about LL is LL had relevancy, like real relevancy. Not saying he's still relevant now, but musical relevancy from 85 to when he came out in 85, technically 84, but 85 when I think that was when radio dropped. Yeah. All the way up into 2002. So that's a 17-year career.
Right.
So like a lot of old heads say that LL fell off in 91, but people our age all got introduced to LL with Doing It, with I Shot Ya, you know what I mean? Stuff like that, Ill Bomb, etc. So
LL has been on the map for a long time, man. And we got to remember, he was a battle rapper before too.
Yeah.
And we can't discredit his street cred. I mean, a lot of times when you think of LL, the LL that you talking about, like the ladies love
Yeah.
version of LL. LL got bars, man.
I've been having arguments. People saying LL didn't have bars. He had energy. He was an energy rapper. He just said stuff real hard. But the funny part is I'm having these arguments with hip hop fans that was around during that time. So you give a little more credit to them because they were, you know, in the hip hop when I was like 5. I was into hip hop, but they knew what they were listening to.
Yeah.
But I think if Jay went against LL, I think LL would lose. I'm not gonna say he would lose badly, but it would probably be something, you know, 16-4 or something like
4.
Yeah, I think because the thing is this: when you think about LL, what do you think LL's best song is? Not his biggest, but his best song.
His best song, probably "I'm Bad."
That's what I would say too, right? So if I'm Bad goes up against like public service announcement, allow me to reintroduce myself. I would probably pick I'm Bad. That might seem like crazy, but Jay has other records that he could play when LL is playing stuff like Jingling Baby Remix, you know, Radio, I Need a Beat. If he go into I Shot You, if he go into like some of his radio records, like that probably won't fly as much. But who I'm curious, who was next on your list?
All right, so we got LL. LL can match up. We agree he can match up. You think it'll be a landslide? He get washed by Jay. I think it'll be neck and neck.
I think he would get washed, but I'll be on record.
All right, so that's LL. Next artist I got right here. This guy came into the hip hop scene early 2000s. And he immediately made waves due to his style.
Am I supposed to guess or automatically?
Nah, this is me just segueing into it.
I like these segues. I feel like I'm on a game show. The thing I was about to say is Lil Wayne.
No, it's not Wayne, but that's a good one though. That's a good one. I didn't write that one down.
That's the one I keep hearing people talk about the most is Wayne.
You know what? We'll get to that one. Let me finish this one. Yeah. So came into the game early 2000s, had his own style, reinvented the game from his very entrance. All right.
Mm-hmm.
He went on. He went diamond. You see where I'm going?
Yeah.
All right. He went diamond. He's
Smiles and South Star. No.
But the guy went on to be a legend. Still relevant. The guy that I'm talking about is Eminem.
The minute you said
I think Eminem, and we know he got bars. That's without a doubt. I think he has a lot of radio hits that can compete with what Jay-Z has.
So this is the thing about verses that I think. It's not always about radio hits. It's honestly about street hits or album hits or them album cuts. So like if you think about it, if somebody do a verses like, I don't know, you know, Eminem, right? If he plays Love the Way You Lie, that's not flying. Because that
might not work. Yeah.
Yeah, but that was all over pop radio.
Yeah.
But it what like that's not a song when I think of like Eminem's best songs. That's not something that pops up in my head. I think Eminem. So same question. What's Eminem's best song? I would say Lose Yourself.
Lose Yourself? From 8 Mile, right?
Yeah, Lose Yourself. That's one of his biggest records, and that song was dope, right?
Yeah.
The problem that I think with Eminem is Eminem has this gap where after those first 3 albums, he dropped some of the, I'm sorry to say this, some of the wackest albums in hip hop, all the way up until he dropped Kamikaze.
Oh, Kamikaze was raw.
Kamikaze was raw, and then this last album was bad, but then he dropped the B-side, and the B-side was cool. Eminem, as far as like bars go, yes, he's up there, but his songs, because the thing is like, yo, he plays The Way I Am, and then Jay-Z plays something like The Way I Am is a big hit, but if Jay-Z plays something like Where I'm From or Dead Presidents, the heads is going with Dead Presidents.
Hey, he played Where I'm From. That's a wash. Any song,
yeah. Ooh, the thing with Eminem is Eminem can rap, but his songs aren't like classic hip hop or like classic. To me, Eminem doesn't have a classic album.
That's agreeable. I can say that. Yeah.
That's why when Eminem is on other people's songs, he can bar you up because he's still a battle rapper. He can bar you up and he has some of those memorable verses, but it just be like, yo, when you get to the albums, when you get to his songs, like you kind of like, I actually want to see Eminem versus Busta Rhymes.
M versus Busta?
Yeah.
And Busta will wash that dude.
See, that's interesting, but because some people would say the opposite, because Eminem is so polarizing in hip hop, and Busta Rhymes is not as polarizing, but he does not get the respect from a lot of people.
Yeah. You know what? I like Eminem, but here's the thing about Eminem.
19-1.
I think, yeah, that'd be a wash.
Yeah.
I think when it comes to Eminem, he still tries too hard. I feel like he feels like he's not respected in the game.
Mm-hmm.
And he still comes out with the energy like he's still trying to get a spot.
Yeah.
Like, okay, we know you can rap. All right. You don't have to come out so extra hard anymore. You know what I'm saying?
Trying to prove that.
Yeah, it's trying to prove something. Still. Like, he still got that grudge on his shoulder, or that chip on his shoulder. It's like, you got bars. We gave that to you, man.
Yeah. Like, yo, you, whatever nobody say, like, you a legend. So you might as well just stick, you know what I mean? Like, who else you got?
All right, so that's M. Last one. I would just get this dead giveaway right here. This is my favorite artist, right?
Nas.
Yeah, this is Nas. I mean, to me, that's an easy one right there. Now, the thing about Nas is going to be the same thing that M falls victim to, which is some of his songs just aren't going to match up well enough with Jay-Z's songs. Bar for bar, I mean, it's Nas all day. But
so
then, if you put up, Where I'm From, okay, what's a good song that we could do? They Shooting, like we can do that.
If you put up Where I'm From versus They Shooting, Where I'm From will win. But if you put up Where I'm From versus Halftime, or I Gave You Power.
I Gave You Power.
So this is the thing about the Nas, and I'm gonna tell you who the person I think will win.
Okay.
I don't think Nas will win, even though I think Nas is my favorite rapper. Nas is your favorite rapper, right?
Yeah.
Because he could do what Jeezy did versus Gucci and play all of Illmatic, and then Illmatic is hailed as the greatest hip hop album of all time, right. But that wouldn't matter. If Jay-Z do Takeover, Nas do Ether, which people all of a sudden now have a revisionist history where they think Takeover is better than Ether.
Stop it.
Yeah, it's like, yo.
Stop it.
If you beat somebody in a battle, they say you ethered him. They don't say, man, you took him over.
Just still to this day.
Yeah. The thing with Nas versus Jay is that, and it sounds weird, there's so many Jay fanboys that they will get to a point where Jay's going to win the minute he just shows up. They're going to give him every single round.
Everything.
Because a lot of people have a hard time accepting the fact that Jay-Z lost that battle. You can sit up here and make the, well, Jay-Z won the war. Well, Jay-Z was winning the war before the battle because Jay-Z was one of the biggest hip hop artists as far as radio and stuff is all time. He was a better businessman or whatever. But when it comes to that microphone, Nas is a better rapper than Jay-Z. And it's not like Jay-Z is whack.
Right.
So, because the thing is like, yo, if you say, okay, he plays Dead Presidents, Nas plays The World Is Yours. If you're a Jay fan, you're going to say Dead Presidents. The World Is Yours is my favorite song in the whole world. Nothing's going to beat that. If he start doing stuff from Reasonable Doubt, if he do Can't Knock the Hustle, and, you know, Nas come with, you know, a Nas Is Like or something like that, this stuff is, you know what I mean? This stuff is not, you know, Story of OJ verse One Mic, or you kind of get what the point I'm saying. Or even if you go by, like, dog, Life Is Good. I don't know why people sleep on it. That's like a top 5 Nas album.
That's a good album.
Yeah, these last 2 albums, the EP was the last one they dropped in December was okay, but King's Disease 1 and 2 was hard.
Yeah.
Like,
I didn't get a chance to check Magic out yet, but King's Disease and 2, I didn't know that you can follow up with a hard album with another hard album.
Yeah.
Consistently. But Nas did it though.
The thing is this. People have mentioned Lil Wayne, and I'll tell you the artist I think will actually beat Jay.
Go ahead.
I don't think it's Lil Wayne. I think Lil Wayne, I don't think he would get washed, but I think Lil Wayne would end up losing. It'd be like a 13-7 or something, 12-8 or something like that. I think the artist that will honestly give Jay, and he doesn't have the bars to do you. He came out in 2002, 2003.
All right.
And he's actually made an album with Jay-Z.
He made an album with Jay-Z.
Kanye West. The problem, Kanye West doesn't have the bars, but like it's funny. I had a hip hop conversation yesterday, and I was saying Kanye is my number 3, and he was like, "Yo, I take Kanye out my top 5." And I'm like, "Yo, you have to realize something from a musical hip hop perspective. I don't know a lot of people musically that are touching Kanye. Not the bars. He's not the best rapper. He's very mediocre as a rapper. But when you talk about expanding the game musically, there's not a lot of rappers, if any, that I can think of that has expanded the game musically like Kanye West has. From the stuff he was sampling to in my opinion, he's the most musically influential artist in hip hop history.
Kanye came out at a good time when hip hop was in that transition mode. Yeah. In the late 2000, mid 2000s,
like early 2000s. This is what I say. If you think about it, in the 80s, we had Tribe and Daylight, but groups like that died. When you think about hip hop in that 2000 range, everything was gangster or everything was super conscious. And so it was either Talib Kweli or Mos Def, and they wasn't getting that many, they weren't pop artists, or it was like 50 Cent. You know, I even make the argument, we talk about Nelly, but Country Grammar is about doing a drive-by. You get what I'm saying?
And it was a pop song, basically.
Yeah, it was a pop song about drive-by. Like, everybody was gangster, maybe with the exception of like a Ludacris. But even Ludacris had a hard edge to him. So when you talk about Kanye and his influence on even the way music, hip hop music start being arranged, like when you listen to like Late Registration and you compare that to some of the hip hop music that was coming out before that, everything was like, you would go, you know, verse, hook, occasionally a bridge. He start arranging that ish differently. You kind of get what I'm saying? Like, crack music sounds differently. Addiction sounds differently than music that was coming out up until that point. I don't think without Kanye, we don't get a Drake.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So if you start talking about that, the Kanye factor eliminates the fanboys, and the Kanye factor, what that does is it's hard to if Jay-Z plays, name a Jay song.
Man, Dead Presidents.
Yeah. Dead Presidents versus crack music, Dead Presidents will win. But if Kanye starts playing something like the My Dark Twisted Fantasy, you kind of get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Or if he plays something like All of the Lights, you get what I'm saying? Like, Jay can, it's hard to combat that.
Yeah.
Because now Jay got to come with something that he could come with some hard stuff, but those songs are so sonically different. And so, they just speak to. So I would say Kanye. I think Kanye would probably give him the best go. I know people don't like Kanye now, but.
So Kanye will basically give him the confused attack.
Yeah.
Where you start doing something just completely different. He'd be like, what?
Yeah.
And he'd be like, oh, okay.
You got your normal hands up. He coming up like this. What's up? Trap your fist.
Kanye, you say, will give him the edge in that battle.
Yeah, because the thing is, like, I know me and you really like bars, right?
Yeah.
And it ain't like Kanye got a couple quotables, but when you think about like lyricists, you're not going, Nas, Eminem, Jay, Kanye.
Kanye. You're not throwing them in there. You give him some respect for him rapping.
Yeah.
But other than that, he can hold himself against other artists. We'll leave it at that.
But when it comes to making that music, you kind of get what I'm saying? Like, he just, politics aside, everything aside, like, it's going to be hard for him to compete with that, especially because, like, we just talking about his music. Like, we not even get into the producer bag.
Yeah, man. All right, so I got LL, Eminem, and Nas. We talked about Lil Wayne. We both agree he ain't gonna win.
Yeah,
he'd be all right competition.
Yeah,
and then Kanye, and you say Kanye will win.
I think Kanye will win a 11-9.
11?
That's my hot take. 11-9. Like, he just barely get him out.
All right.
The thing with Jay is this, and this is what I always say, and it sounds weird. Jay-Z is really good at making music for the moment. So, like, Reasonable Doubt is classic. Volume 1 is good. But when you get to Volume 2, you don't listen to that many songs on it. You might do Jigga What, Jigga Who, Money Cash Hoes. You might play a Reservoir Dogs, and you might play Jay-Z with Kid Capri. Maybe Coming to Age sequel, but these is not. When you get to Volume 3, it's the same thing. Like
I like Volume 3. I like that one. That was heavily produced by Timbaland.
Yeah, when you get to Volume 3, I think the song that stick out to me is "I'm About $1." Who is 50 Cent?
That was the Timbaland beat on that one too.
Yeah, Come and Get Me.
Yeah.
People Like Big Pimpin'. Is like, yeah. I think when you get to Dynasty, that's another one of them, like,
hit or miss.
Yeah, you like 1-800 Hustler, 1-900 Hustler, and you like You, Him, Her, and Me. And then
the one with Emil got like 4 bars.
Yeah, like, all right, we said her, so we got to put you on here. You got that.
Did you cut her verse? Nah, dang.
Right. We just want her to be like, we really just want her to be like, and Emil was here. And there's not a lot of you know what I'm saying? It's not a lot of those great, I'm not gonna say great albums, but we all know We Can Skip Kingdom Come.
Yeah.
Blueprint 2, skip that.
Yeah, I wasn't a big Blueprint 2 fan. First one was good.
Yeah,
third one was good too.
Yeah, third one was good. When American Gangster, the Magna Carta,
You got Black Album.
Black Album. If I had to rate Jay-Z's album for my personal, it would be Blueprint, Reasonable Doubt, Black Album. Believe it or not, probably 444. Or no, it would probably be Volume 1 then 444. I don't. It's funny because Volume 1 when you listen to it at the time, it was like, man, it's corny cat. But now, like, that's Streets is Watching is actually my favorite Jay-Z song.
You seen the little movie they had back then too, right? Yeah.
Hush Puppies?
Yeah. I'm talking about the actual Streets is Watching DVD.
You know what? It's on YouTube, so you could watch like when they was going into the thing, the hotel to rob dude and all this other stuff. It's funny too because when you watch that, every time because the video was part of it.
Yeah.
Along with the imaginary player when they had him pouring the wine back in. Yeah. It's funny because if you watch Jay-Z on The Shop, he said, he had the bulletproof vest on with the t-shirt. And everybody thought that was a fashion statement, but he was like, no, I was really just coming from war. I thought that was an interesting quote. Because I remember, I guess bulletproof vest is in. But he was like, no, I was just coming from warring with cats. Like, we was really still in the streets.
That was the whole concept that they were dealing with back then, man.
Yeah.
All right, so Jay-Z versus, there is competition out there.
Yeah.
According to Steph, Jay gonna wash a couple people.
Do you think, before we get into the stocks, because this is a question, do you think Jay-Z has gotten to the point where he's actually overrated now?
I don't think he's overrated. I just think there's a lot of people who just automatically just say Jay-Z just because somebody else said Jay-Z. I think he's got synonymous like that. He's basically Xerox. Like, when you say you copy something, you Xerox something. Somebody says something about best rapper, they automatically just say Jay-Z.
Jay-Z.
That's what I think about it. I think he got bars. In my personal top, Jay's not in there, but that's my preference. But other people will just throw Jay-Z in there just as either filler or they really just putting him out there to say, he's top 5.
Yeah, I think he's top 5. I think that it's just gotten to the point where people feel like Jay-Z is just untouchable. Like, you be like, yo, who's the greatest rapper of all time? It's Jay-Z. Nobody else matters. There is no other rapper.
Don't argue with me. He's the best.
Yeah, exactly. Right. And it's like, dog, you don't even know the difference between a 4.0 and a 4.6. I'm gonna need that clip because that was a perfectly timed joke.
We'll take care of you.
Yeah.
All right. So there's the verses right there. We're gonna transition into stocks. The stocks verses. So this is gonna be the only place where you're gonna see a versus for stocks. So I got a few here that we could talk about here.
Okay.
All right. So these two stocks here. Same realm. They recently came out with an IPO. Well, one came out with an IPO. The other one is still private. Matter of fact, hold up. Let me pull my stuff up. Make sure I'm not tripping before I said that because I didn't even bother to look at that. But I think this one is still. Yep, it's still private. So one came out IPO. The other one is still private. They both do the same thing. And they've been in the same arena since they came out. I didn't get introduced to either one of these stocks until later. And I didn't actually test any of their platforms until last year. And what I'm talking about is Uber versus Lyft. Which one you going for? I guess since Lyft is in public,
it kind of automatically got to be Uber. But
yeah, it's got to be Uber. But as far as the business is concerned, let's just pretend Lyft is an actual stock, all right? Which one you think is better, Uber or Lyft?
I think Uber is better. The reason why I think Uber is better, and I'm drawing up my Fibonacci's on it right now. The reason why I think Uber is better is because Uber does food, And if Lyft does food, I don't even know. So Uber transitioned from, just a car ride service to now they deliver food. So now now they got extra revenue coming in from just not car rides, but food and everything else. So that shows that Uber has the ability to expand or try to grow more profits by utilizing their platform to get more money.
So you got Uber. Now, this is going to be purely based upon my experience with both platforms. So, as I alluded earlier, I didn't test any of these out for the first time until last year when I went to Vegas. Put both apps on my phone. I said, me and my wife went out there, we kicked it. I said, we just going to pick whichever one we want. So, went with Uber first because everybody was telling me, get an Uber. Did that. That was cool. We met some decent drivers. There was only one driver that was like, I wasn't feeling him.
Mm-hmm.
Switched it over, tried Lyft. I thought Lyft had better prices and service was equal. Based on my personal experience with dealing with both platforms and using the mobile app and all that stuff, I thought Lyft had a better experience for me
than
because
Uber.
The drivers were nicer, I thought. Service was decent. Pricing was better. And I just thought it was sweet, though.
So here go the thing with Uber versus Lyft. Most of the time, the drivers do both. So they'll do both. And then the thing is this, and this goes back to what we said about Jay-Z versus Nas. If you think about it in terms like this, Uber has got into the vernacular of society where it's like, go get an Uber. There.
Yeah.
It's not Lyft there. You kind of get what I'm saying? So even though Lyft might have better prices, people prefer Uber because Uber is more of a brand name at this point.
They the first ones to the game.
They're the first one to the game. And it's the fact that not only are they the first ones to the game, but they have more avenues to get money. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if Uber tried to jump into Airbnb's lane.
I seen they did freight now.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's going to be pretty big, especially if logistics continue to be crazy like it is. Doing Uber freight might be a good move for them.
Yeah.
But by default, Uber wins because it has the stock. You can't figure out how to invest in Lyft. The only way you're going to invest in Lyft is by investing in Uber. So ticker UBER. Uber sitting at, as of right now, around $43. And I think it has a bright future for it too. I think we are in the upswing. Let's see, it's 3 years out right now. High is 64.05 and we're sitting around 43. I think it has a good chance to start moving higher.
Where do you see a good entry price? I see anywhere in that $30 range.
Entry?
Yeah.
Yeah, best entry is going to be
at 33.
Anywhere between 35 to 30 is going to be obviously the best entry. For right now,
that's basically where it broke out from.
So if you're trying to get in, around 40 would be the best entry that you can get. That's a $3 risk at the current price right now. That's worth taking a risk in order to get some skin in the game on Uber. Next one I got on the Verzuz.
Okay.
Both of these companies have been around for a while. First one has been out forever. Okay. It's a primary service for a lot of people. And if I'm correct, it's probably the leading service in this sector. Its competitor came out, I want to say early 2000s.
Okay.
And they had a rough start. And they finally picked up some steam and started stealing market share and became the
Is this Microsoft versus Apple?
Nah, this ain't Microsoft versus Apple, but that's a good versus too, though.
Okay.
This one's going to be Verizon versus T-Mobile. Now we going stock for stock. Who you got? Verizon or T-Mobile?
My disclaimer is, to be honest, I don't know much about the industry.
Okay.
I've looked at Verizon before. I noticed Verizon does not move that much.
No, it doesn't.
Like Verizon stays in a very safe range.
Mm-hmm.
It depends your risk tolerance level.
All right, so Verizon, like you said, doesn't move too much, right? It's been in a range for years. Currently sitting at 53, 59. By the time you hear this podcast, it's going to move. We'll just say in the 50s. The thing about Verizon is they have a dividend. Getting in at this low price right now gives you a higher yield. Dividend is at 64 cents a quarter. So that's what I calculated is about 4.7% yield on a year at the current price.
Okay.
Yeah, 4.8% yield. As you know, inflation is 6.3. That's a decent return for a dividend in any type of inflation. And keep in mind, 6.3 is not normal. 3% is usually the norm. You'd be okay at this one. But go ahead, Steph.
What is T-Mobile growing a year? Because what I'm looking at, if you look at it, bro, it's been 5 years ago, it was at $54.
Yeah.
Then it got up to 150. So you talking about a 100% gain from where it's at now. Like even, and that's not even at the all-time highs. As a matter of fact, I think that 108 is where I was probably try to get into T-Mobile now and try to ride it back up to that 150 range.
I like T-Mobile, and just to give everybody a heads up, I'm picking T-Mobile as the winner.
Yeah, I'm about to say, I'm like that chart. This chart looks
the chart. Yeah,
it's going up and to the right.
Yeah, T-Mobile has been killing the game. They've been gaining market share. They've been a strong competitor. They stole a lot of market share from AT&T and Verizon, and they have been the Robin Hood in the investment world. But in the phone world where they changed the game. You got to remember, T-Mobile is the cats that came in and said, we'll pay your contract. And they also said they're not giving contracts. That was their claim to fame. When Verizon and AT&T continued to dominate the game and had everybody, oh, you want a phone? Bet. Why don't you sign here for 2 years, 3 years?
Yeah.
And then we'll give you the phone and you make payments on it. T-Mobile is like, dead that. Bet. Come over here. We'll give you the phone. No contracts. You just make the payments on the phone.
Yeah.
No. That was it. No contracts.
What you think is the best entry?
Best entry? Where we're sitting at right now is about 110.
Mm-hmm.
So best entry right now is pretty much close to his price right now. If somebody wanted to continue to get a position in
I was
T-Mobile,
saying 108.
Say one, yeah, that's around where we're at right now. Next best price is gonna be in the 80s, but yeah, I like it a lot around 80. But if you wanted to get in right now, I think that's a solid entry for the price that we got right now. All right, so who you got on that one? You got T-Mobile on that one too?
Yeah, I had T-Mobile on that one. You just look at the chart and be like,
now just to read the chart on Verizon now.
It's not bad.
No, it's not bad, and it's a good yield. But it actually
trades in a range.
Yeah, but it's starting to look oversold right now. So in a year, it's coming off of year lows, right?
Uh-huh.
That's a solid entry in the mid 50s. Just understand that if it can get above 60, it's going to move to 70.
Uh-huh.
Now, I'm looking at the 20-year monthly. If you take a look at that one, you see that it's got a very nice cup. And if anybody knows me, I love cup and handle patterns.
Yes, you do.
And this is giving a signal of a potential cup and handle where this could actually start to get some growth. And it makes sense because in the space right now, we got 5G And Verizon has been a leader in this space for a while, so they could be a primary player.
What's the measurement of it? I see. What would be the measured move? I mean, I'm looking at your chart around the 96 to its high to whenever it started to make that move.
I would think that if it does get above 60 from the cup and handle, it's going to make a move to 90.
Okay.
This last verses I got here. All right.
Okay.
So both of these stocks, heavy hitters in the game, they propelled themselves to new highs during the pandemic. And they showed no signs of stopping after the pandemic happened. I've been a fan of both of these stocks for years.
Okay.
And the two stocks that I'm talking about right now is Home Depot versus Lowe's.
Okay, good.
This one is the Jay-Z versus Nas, where there's a big boy in the market that has led for quite some time, but then we got the other one that came in and said, hey, we can do it too. Home Depot has been a leader in the space. And then if you look at Lowe's, how far they've come, man, did they come up. Stock price right now is around $250. I remember trading this dog when Lowe's was in the 30s. I remember this. I remember trading Home Depot when it was in the 80s.
Can we be honest with this one?
What's up?
You can't go wrong with either one of these.
Nah, but we gotta pick one.
This might be a coin flipper X-tro to be. All right, so this is how I will pick it.
Okay.
Which one do I think has a better entry for right now? That's the way I put it.
All right, because so we talk about entry as far as the setup or entry as far as like price?
The setup.
Okay.
I don't like damn near got the same type of setup.
Yeah, they are running parallel, man.
I think Home Depot is number one. I'm gonna go with Home Depot because it's number one.
Depot?
Yeah.
All right.
Because it's if you tell me like Lowe's and you say some crazy stats, I might change my mind, but they both are very strong. Look at them. Like they both been going up and to the right. They both basically got very, very similar setups. So yeah. I'm just gonna go with Home Depot because it's still the industry leader.
And like you said earlier, you can't lose with either one. If you had either one in your portfolio, you ball, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Both of these stocks have essentially tripled. So in 2020, we were sitting at one.
Is that 2020 or is that 2019?
This right here is 2020.
Oh, okay.
So 2020, we were sitting at around 120-ish when the market, that year started. Pandemic happened, flash crash, it got down to low as 60. 60. Right? Yeah. Now, it's at 250. Record high 263. We talking about bags. Super bags.
Bags
Home
on
Depot.
bags.
Yeah. Home Depot, similar setup. 2020, it was at 230 something. Flash crash, it got down to 140.63. Got as high as 420.61. Now sitting at 386. Bags, right?
Yeah.
All right, so my pick is gonna be Home Depot, only because once again they're the market leader. I know every time I personally go there, the line is still long. Average ticket sale is still creeping up.
You're never going to get to a point. I don't say never, but I think the thing with Home Depot and Lowe's is like when you want home improvement stuff, you get a clog in your sink or something like that, right? And it's 2:00 on a Sunday. You're not worried about Amazon. You're going straight to Home Depot to get something because you need to get something fixed fast. Right. And then on top of that, I think especially with home stuff, you kind of want to see it. You kind of want to be around it and see what it'll look like.
Absolutely.
So I think that's like, and then even with construction, people, because if you build in like a house or something like that, or you're doing a quick flip of a house or real estate, you can't wait for something to be delivered online. You want to be able to get it there so you can do exactly what you got to do. So I don't think Home Depot is going to go anywhere, or Lowe's will go anywhere, unless somebody comes up with some sort of Amazon type delivery service that can tell what you'll need before you'll need it.
That's gonna be, I can't say impossible, but nothing's impossible.
Yeah.
But that's gonna be hard. And if somebody gets that, make sure you IPO and let me know about it first.
Yeah. Let me be an angel investor.
let me in on that, because I need in on that. This is the Versus episode of Stocks and Bars. And I appreciate you participating in this one, man. And we definitely will be doing it again. The next hip hop episode, looking forward to it, man.
Hey, I appreciate you having me.
Yeah. So let's go ahead and sign off on that and then jump into these bars. Stocks and Bars, where we talk money and we kick it with the flow. If you listen to the vision, you can get it with a show. My empire mission is to grow. All the info on the podcast we giving you is gold. Ready to detonate, the clock ticking and explode. Bringing it to the people who ain't fitting in the mold. Went from rapping about my ratchet, how I live it and it blow, to clapping from the stands when I see others hit their goals. This podcast is a modern art. These are financial bars, ain't no sound like cars. Not from this world, that was found on Mars. I can help you find your path, but you gotta be down to carve. In order to ascend to the realm of God, you gotta kill your old self to let the new self evolve. How many of your dollars must get dissed before you finally realize how to use them to get rich? Stocks and bars, stocks